The words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, my strength. It's good to see all of you around here. I know most of you here. I'm glad to see you here. I want to try to get into your heart that you understand what we're fighting for. And it is an experience more than anything else. It is, I liken it to what we have done in the past, how we have come up out of slavery, how we have come out of Jim Crow, and what we bring to the state of North Carolina as well as the United States. We bring something that nobody else can bring, in that the things that we've been through. And if we truly understand, we are the best defenders of freedom in the whole of the United States. But we have to be able to capture that in such a way that we begin to understand. You find in the second sentence of the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they have been endowed and created by certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If we don't recognize that, it is time out for us to try to defend whether we're good enough or not. We're all human beings. And when you go down that road, there's no return. There's really no return. Because, see, it's a difference between what a human being is and what a human being does. We have been called subhuman, we've been called a lot of things, but you have to recognize that that argument is over with. That's right. So I don't allow anybody to occupy any space in my mind because they haven't paid any rent to be there. So you've got to be an independent thinker. You have to be not letting anybody make you out to be an intellectual slave. You have to be able to understand what it means for unalienable rights. Unalienable rights simply mean that they cannot be bought, sold, or given away.
That's good.
They have to be recognized for who we are. And do not allow the collective masses to decide for you what you must do. What has been said about the Republican Party, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Thomas Jefferson said, America is an idea in the minds of men. My question to you is, what is your idea of what America is? That is so key. Not the people necessarily, but it's based on the three elements, or three charters that we deal with. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. All they do is recognize the rights of the people. They don't give us rights. They recognize the rights of the people. And so if we will keep that in the forefront of our mind, then we'll be able to move forward. And the government is supposed to put forth only justified legal remedies for what we deal with. As we move forward with the idea that when in the course of human events, we find ourselves being governed by the rule of man rather than the rule of law, we as sovereign citizens of these United States must defend again our charters of freedom, our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, and our Bill of Rights. That's how we came up out of the situation we're in, not by means of going out here and starting riots. Benjamin Franklin said, when they asked him what had he done, he said, what have you wrought? In other words, what have you put together? What have you created? What have you molded? A carefully wrought plan. He said, a republic, if you can keep it. The word democracy is not mentioned in the Constitution. Our Constitution created a limited representative republic. In a democracy, the majority can directly make laws, while in a republic, elected representatives make the laws. In a pure democracy, the majority has unlimited power, whereas in a republic, a written constitution limits the majority and provides safeguards for individuals and the minority. As a key thing we got to understand, it is the job of the people to defend our republic, not Congress, not the president, nor the Supreme Court. It is our job to do that, to make that happen. When we have 535 people controlling 330 plus million people. There's something wrong with that. We've got to change that dynamic, and the only way we can do that is to become educated on how this country works. We are in a free enterprise capitalistic system. You've got to understand that system. That's why I was so elated when Donald Trump became president, because as a businessman, America is run like a business. And we've had far too many government officials that come with socialistic ideas, all these off-the-wall ideas, when they don't understand this is a profit and loss kind of situation. That's why they have not been able to balance that budget, because they don't look at it from that point of view. So we are going to come forward. Defining moments are not unique. Everybody has them. It's what you do with those moments that tells who you are. And I'll give you a situation to show you. On February 2nd, 1960, when I sat down at that lunch counter, I defined that moment because I had been in there a number of times. But this time was a decision that we were going to integrate that counter. We were going to change the dynamics of America. We were going to test our judicial system to find out whether or not it was just words on a piece of paper, or whether or not it was those words would be held accountable for what they mean. And so that's the direction that we've got to go in order to impeding or raising awareness of a certain issue, a set of issues. As I said before, now that we have a seat at the table, we will not be getting second-hand information. We will be able to move forward and change some things, because we're the only ones that know what our neighborhood looks like. Right now, we're working on be brought into the black community. The biggest challenge we have in America right now is not all this other off-the-wall stuff you see, it is jobs. If jobs were available, a whole lot less things would be going on. And so I'm delighted to have you all out here.